We are live.
Okay,
We are live.
Yaroslav, can we start?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, dear friends, I'm very happy to welcome all of you. And it's very interesting that today we are completely different people, completely different specialists in different fields and also from different countries. Let's say Aida, she is specialist on wealth. She's a banker and she's from Kazakhstan. Matt Wilson, he is from England, and she is the head of Animus Creative Company. And Cindy, she's a life coach. I cannot see Melanie. Melanie is with us?
No, it looks like she's dropped.
I don't think so. No. And me, I'm a film director and producer, and I'm from Russia. So definitely it's completely different countries and completely different expertise. I know that including us, a lot of people are worried about their future. And last time when we met at the event of Hidden Hero and Hidden Beauty. It was maybe 1 month ago, yeah, Matt, if I remember correctly. And it was the last chance to go out from the house, and it was still, I will say, happy time. And we were thinking, oh, it will end maybe in 5 days or maybe in a week. But we never knew that we will end up being locked down in our flats in a very small territory. I'm locked with my 3 kids, and unfortunately, my husband is far away, not in Dubai, but in Kazakhstan. So there are a lot of challenges to all of us. Question number one, in your opinion, and let's start from Matt. If you answer for 2 minutes, short answer, how to overcome the fear? What are you doing? Because definitely it's very, all of us were afraid what will be next. How you overcoming your fear?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any fear. The way I'm looking at this is we all have a responsibility to actually react to the situation in our own way. So how we react to the situation is really about moving forward. You take the time to enjoy the extra time you may have at home with your family. You may have extra time to focus on projects that you weren't able to focus on previously. We've all been given almost like a gift. It's a terrible, terrible situation, but those of us that are not directly affected by it from a health perspective, we can take this time as a gift and try and utilize it. It's not time that we're very often given or allowed to have. So really, it's about having a positive attitude towards it, making that's change in the way you think about it.
Thank you so much. Aida, what about you?
I think just to break it down, first, I'm not trying to think about tomorrow. I'm just thinking about today. What I can sort today, I will sort. And in the back of my mind, I just tell myself, when the problem arises, I take it on and we deal with that and we will manage. So for me, I think the main thing is to break it down and one day at a time is the best way. And if I get a bit worried what's going to happen, I talk myself out of telling myself when it comes, I will deal with that. For now, this is not the problem. I take care of immediate things. So that's, I think, fear and also worrying in the same kind of pool. So I think that's my approach, and it works, at least, for me.
Perfect. Interesting. One thing at a time, not to worry too much about what will happen tomorrow. Cindy, what about you? What do you think about that?
Well, I think with any emotion, that any emotion like fear first needs to be allowed to be. So space for fears, worries, anxiety, and having an opportunity to express them, first to self and to others, also helps people to be able to then move into the next gear, what Matt was talking about. So I believe in the ability to express and then to think to myself, what is important here? What is possible here? And that from a mindset of, yes, we can do it. Yes, what I want is important. Yes, we can do that together. So allowing for anything to come up, not to make it wrong, not to judge it, but to use it as fuel to move forward, which is a little bit like Iga said, you know, one day at a time. And like Matt said, plan and make things happen that you didn't have time for now, to make that happen now. Plan ahead.
Very interesting. And I know that Cindy was a little bit, as she said, feverish. She wasn't feeling that good in the morning, but even in spite of that, she was doing exercises, and she told me we should help ourselves and we should, one time I was in Emirates Mall in the biggest shop in Dubai, and I saw a very beautiful picture in the Photoshop of a very beautiful family. And I said, wow, such beautiful people. And then I recognized it was the photo of Cindy and her family, and they put it as advertisement because it was a very positive family. And I think, wow, I know that girl, I know that lady, Cindy.
By the way, that is a great thing to do as a family. Take back pictures in the house together. Great fun, different poses. It's a great activity to bring in some energy and some fun, and to capture, you know, this period as well.
Great. To analyze what you said now, what Matt said, Iga and Cindy, that at the end of the day...
Olga, Melanie is there. Melanie is there. Can you see Melanie?
Melanie, hello. Can you see us, Melanie?
I can. Hello, how are you?
Oh, what a beautiful lady with us. This is our beautiful Melanie. Melanie is health psychologist. I think, Melanie, all of us, we need you. We need you now. And I think all people in the world now need such a beautiful health psychologist. They will recover only just looking at Melanie. Melanie, the first question to all of us was how to overcome fears, like short answer, like 2 minutes. What is your expertise? I know that you save a lot of people who want to jump out from the balconies, and you even working with people who are having coronavirus, and you helping them to recover, and doctors to work with them. So the first question to you is how to overcome fear in that difficult time.
I think the main thing is learning to ground ourselves, and one of the things I tell everybody is having gratitude for what's actually happening. And it sounds like this is already a theme that you've discussed between you all, but realizing that we've been told that something pretty terrible is happening, but also we've been given the full recipe as to how to cope with it and how to manage with it. So we've been told from a functional perspective, you know, we have to stay home. Staying at home will protect us, will keep us safe. Obviously, things like the social distancing and staying away from people, not going out to the shops, we know all of that. But as I said, we've been given the recipe. So it's kind of sticking to that and having to adapt to that. I think a lot of people obviously struggle because suddenly they're thrown into circumstances where situations do cause fear. They're not used to being at home. They're used to driving around. They're used to being social. So it's showing people that we've actually, you know, this could be an exciting time. We've been told what to do, and now all we have to do is be open enough to adapt to that. And I think it's showing people that there are numerous ways that we can cope with this. So even if we're all inside together, even if we're, you know, depending obviously the situation that person's coping with. I mean, there are people out there who are all alone and they're isolated and they're feeling it. But there are obviously ways to cope with that, to overcome any fear they might have. And of course there's fear because most people, you know, have never been through anything like this before. There's going to be uncertainty. They're going to be looking at the news, things like that. So it's going back to the fundamentals. What do we have to do to sort of get through the days? And I like the idea of taking, you know, one day as it comes, and realizing we've got an opportunity now to if we just, you know, follow the ideas, you know, that are out there, that we can overcome those fears. Because there are also people out there, you know, families who are suddenly, you know, large families, they're in the home together, things are completely different. Going back to simple routines as well, keeping a little bit of structure. And I always say sort of staying away from the news, you know, but there are so many resources now that can be accessed online in terms of sort of how to cope. So I think just tapping in from what everybody's saying, I think being open to that, allowing that, you're allowed to feel afraid, you're allowed to feel scared and uncertain. But if you go back to some of the familiar things that you do know, some of the structures in your day that you had before, even if they look slightly different,
Melanie, thank you so much. I think it's very helpful and very interesting what we are talking about. I will tell you, as a movie director, I don't know what's happened with me. Now I'm looking at everything as a movie. I cannot stop doing it because I will think, wow, this is interesting beginning. This is very, you know, I don't know why. This is like, because it's so surrealistic and really it looks like a Hollywood film. That's why, of course, I look at this as if it's not very real. But also, you know, the talks like this, when we can still talk and we can still see each other, you know, it gives me big hope because, yes, we are isolated, we are alone, we can only go out to the balcony, but it gives me hope that at the end of the day, humanity is stronger than this virus and we will find, you know, some way out, or we can do it together. By the way, Melanie is from New Zealand, so it's one more country to add, because today, Melanie, we are all from different countries: England, Kazakhstan, New Zealand, and Netherlands, and Russia. So it's interesting how we can tackle all this. And for example, I know that in Russia, unfortunately, some of the couriers who were carrying food were attacked because a lot of people, they're already hungry and they don't have jobs and they don't have money. So my next question to all of you, and I would like to start from Matt, about money. What do you think? A lot of people asking, they're afraid that maybe they will lose their jobs, and they already lost their jobs, and already a lot of businesses bankrupt. And a lot of people worry, what will happen if we cannot buy bread tomorrow? What do you think, how we can save money or what to do with money? Matt, can you be so kind to answer that question, if you have some ideas?
Sure. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation where I'm not panicking about money. I don't know what it's like for everyone, so I can't really answer it honestly, but what I would say is don't panic. You know, the essential services, most of the governments are very switched on. The essential services are maintaining the running, so food delivery, supermarkets, shelves still being stocked. As long as we don't panic and just go out and buy everything because somebody else is going out and buying everything, then we shouldn't reach a situation where we get to there's no bread on the shelves or there's no bare essentials. So for me, I mean, yes, financially from a business perspective, I'm taking a huge hit, but from a day-to-day perspective, I'm not going out. I'm not spending money on running an office. I'm not spending money on petrol. I'm actually not spending money on food delivery. We're staying at home. We're getting supermarket food in, and we're doing a lot more home cooking than we normally would. In fact, since this started, we haven't had one takeaway. And that will actually save you a lot of money. I think it's just being mindful of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and where you are putting your money. You know, you don't need to buy those things online right now. Let's just hunker down, tighten our belts, and just make sure that we know where our money's going. You know, you just need to prioritize. It's all about food and staying sane really at this time. So just enjoy yourselves at home. You've got Netflix, you've got TV, you've got board games, you've got, you know, activities that you can do at home. You can exercise at home. You don't have to pay for that gym membership. Some governments and companies are giving discounts, massive discounts on electricity bills and etc. So you really just need to, you know, hang in there, be sensible, and don't just be frivolous. I think we'll come through this. You know, there is going to be an end to this. We just need to be sensible.
As we say, inshallah, inshallah. We believe you, Matt. You always give us positivity. You always, even in the dark times, you bring the light and you make the dark time lighting. Thank you so much for this unique ability. Aiga, what do you think about money? Since you are in the bank and you are wealth manager, you are teaching people how to get wealth. What do you do with money now?
I think just on the, like, I think I completely agree with Matt. And in order to really have a grip on the situation for people, what they need to do for everybody, I think it's for everybody, it's just to really list down the things that you are unnecessarily have as expense now.
because obviously our lifestyle has changed dramatically. So psychologically, it helps you to have some kind of control in your life. And then at the same time, I think a lot of people will struggle, because what's going to happen tomorrow? How are we going to deal with financial situation? So how you do it as of now, what I'm going to do. What I don't need to spend, you just illuminate, like membership to the gym. You don't need it. You can call them up and do. What happens is that not only you start to control things that you don't need to spend on, and you can put some things in your savings. At the same time, psychologically, it helps you, like, make up your bed in the morning, as I preach always, just do it. It gives you a self-control and accomplishment. So financially, in this unpredictable world, there is a global economic crisis that will obviously one way or another impact everybody. Just take control of the things that you can take control. And that's your own family budget, like how you're going to do, the groceries, it will help you to see the items that you need to do, or illuminate the things that you don't need. And in this way, you will see that not only you will be much stronger off with your financial situation, because you will, if you print out your statements on the cards, you will see, okay, this maybe you didn't even realize has been charged to you, on a monthly basis. So cut it off, try to clear it, focus on what is essential, what you can do. And I think in this way, you can at least minimize the impact of what's happening now, on a daily basis. And then at the same time, don't worry about, how you're going to do it like in 1 year or something. I mean, you see the world is changing every day now. So I think just something that you can manage, you do it. And in that, your personal finances, and check out for your family members. If you have a large family, your kids, everything might be directly linked to your credit card accounts, which you can, you might have forgotten, but I think it will help you to also clear up and, make it a very straightforward cash flow for you, So I think that will help you financially, and then that will help you psychologically, because then once you take control of one or two things in your life, you will feel immense relief and kind of feel of security that we need to regain now because of all the uncertainties and too many moving parts. So if you can do that, that I think would be the milestone, and then you take it from there and you can add on.
Thank you. Aiga, thank you so much. It's very important. I also noticed that we cut our budget 3 times, 4 times, and nothing happened. That means that there was really a lot of extra things that we get used. We were very lucky because we lived in extreme luxury, that we can afford to buy that many things, and all that things looked like that they're very important. But now it's happened, as Matt said, I completely agree. There is no need for membership for the gym. We can do so many things on the YouTube. And what Aigar said, I really appreciate it. Just don't think about what will happen tomorrow. At least concentrate on today, or tomorrow is okay, but don't think what will happen in a year, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what will happen. The next question will go to Melanie and to Cindy. I would like to ask about relationship with children, because it so happened that all our experts here, they have kids, and we are locked in a very small territory. How to manage? I know that some parents, they have amazing relationship with children, but others' relationship is just cracking, falling apart. People start hating each other. They want to kill each other. They almost want to commit suicide. I would like now to go to Cindy, since she is specialist in parentology. When we are locked in a small space and it's very difficult, we cannot run away in the street and say, I'm fed up. I need to go out and have fresh air. You can have fresh air only on the balcony if you're lucky to have a balcony. Cindy, what do you recommend us to do? How to build good relationship when we are isolated?
Well, the key to this period and before this period and the coming period is to always hold children naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. They have own ideas about how they would like to spend their time, and they would love to hear our questions about how would you like to spend it? What would you like to do? What do you enjoy? So curiosity is a great way. Accepting the child is very important, because some kids are naturally more dreaming dreamy like, and they like to color, and they like to draw, and they like to play with cars or dolls. But not every child is like that. Some children really like to move. So maybe you want to be creative and build a little circuit together where you exercise together. So I think the key to any relationship is curiosity, acceptance, non-judgment, and like I said, to really invite the child to come up with ideas, to do things together. On top of that, I think it's very important, because we as parents now have many different roles. We're stepping into being teachers as well, is to make agreements about those different roles, and that each role has new kinds of rules and regulations, right?
Yes.
And to just, we call that, to make agreements around that, and to help ask them, okay, so in a classroom, how does that go about when your teacher gives you an instruction? How would you go about? So what can we agree on at home when we do your homework? When do we need to have a break? When this happens, for instance, we get annoyed with one another. How would you like us to tackle that? How would you like me to break that to you, that my boundary has been crossed and I'm starting to get annoyed, or I'm starting to get frustrated? So to make agreements around that, and very importantly, to also give each other space to say, okay, this is the space that I need at this time, and this is my time. What would you like to do during your time? Because when we're in a confined space, it's very important to be able to be open to one another, to make agreements, to mess up, we make mistakes, and to kiss and make up then again, and to keep making agreements as we go along. But the key is to really do it together and not so much only enforce.
It's very interesting. So it's about co-creating. It's not that we will say, we will study now from, Matt's daughter is very small. She's only 2.5 years old. But the rest of us, we have kids who are older, and we already start doing some online things. It's not that we impose, Cindy, it's not that we say we will study from 10 to 12, but we co-create together. Like, we have to do it. What do you think about that? What is the best way we can do it? How do you recommend?
Just like you said in the beginning, you wanted to be on this call at 1 o'clock, and you made an agreement with the kids, right? About
yes, I made agreement. I told them I made yesterday an elephant for you. So now, please, you be so kind, you go to sleep. Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Give and take.
Yeah, Melanie, we have a question to you. Now, a lot of people are asking me that the relationship between husband and wife also become different when they are in one space, and the space is very small. What you can recommend, how not for husband and wife to kill each other? Dr. Melanie.
Right. No, I'm all ready to talk about the children here, because I think that's a vital one too. But yeah, no, look, jumping
please
on.
add about children. I know that you're struggling every day. You're teaching Hamdan. You became a teacher yourself, which is not maybe your favorite profession, and you're teaching him online every day.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, well, yeah, it was just a few things to add to that I think, that are important. And it's that, I think the idea with the home schooling is there was a feeling, I think it's been kind of imposed on us, like we have to follow this rigid structure, and we have to tick off all these boxes, and we have to work from 8:30 till 3:30 kind of thing. And I found that didn't work, for us at all, that we had to, again, bring in those ideas of flexibility and adapting to actually, and for me in particular, how my son works. So we got obviously permission from the school that we said, we're not going to be completing tasks on time. We're going to be doing them at different times of the day, when he's more likely to be willing to work on things.
Because I know that in the morning you're teaching Hamdan, and in the evening you helping your patients to solve psychological issues. And I think I wonder how you manage to live without help yourself, because all your day is crazy responsibility. Yeah.
Well, this is where we bring in the husband, because he was relegated to the kitchen, you see, and he started cooking, which was a whole new thing for him. And it was just kind of like we needed our, we definitely still need our space, I think. But we had, we've developed like separate workstations. So my son's got a little workstation he's set up on the dining room table. He's got all his toys there, like a little class where he can work. He's adapted kind of that way. I don't need to be there as much. But I think probably like with any families, we're still running in and out of rooms, and as you say, preparing our children. And that was the reason I was late, is I just had a last minute kind of altercation with my son, flew through into the lounge to start the call, and then the doorbell rang and it was the guy with the home delivery from Carrefour. So I was just thinking, this is just so typical, of what we're going through at the moment, that we can try to plan and predict, but we really have to be adaptable. So that's why I kind of landed belly up in the meeting. But back to the the relationships and the and especially with our partners, I'm lucky that I'm not in a situation where things are acrimonious with my husband. We get on fine. He's happy to adapt. I'm happy to adapt. We're doing our best. He'll accept my meltdowns. He's pretty stable, probably has less meltdowns than me, but we kind of get there at the end of the day. But the struggles that I face as a psychologist are dealing with a lot of people who are in very, very highly acrimonious and tumultuous situations with their husbands, where there hasn't been good communication, there isn't peace, there's even danger of physical abuse, things like that. So the real, and it's not even the end of the spectrum stuff, this is sort of daily life for people, and suddenly they're being put, into the homes together and they're not able to get out. And so for those people, it's really difficult. They have to, I'm encouraging people to still seek support when they can, not allowing the financial situations to prohibit them from accessing the help, that they need, so that they continue to feel supported, that they're not isolated in those potentially dangerous situations. So again, it's kind of a case-by-case basis on the whole, I think, with our partners, with our husbands, and vice versa. Again, it's finding ways to adapt and being open to taking on different roles. And I think in the more difficult situations, they must still reach out to help, or even if it's a first time, reaching out, because the situation has changed, and that kind of change that's been imposed can literally mean, very dangerous things for people, and including.
Yes, I know that, for example, in Kazakhstan, I don't know, do you agree with me or no, that the basic violence increased 30% only for these last 2 weeks, and 30% is a very good, it's a very bad number. People are hitting each other, husbands are hitting their wives, and they are angry on their wives, as if the wives created the violence. It's not the, yes, Igor.
Not only in Kazakhstan, trust me, it's everywhere. I think it's just exactly the whole idea of confinement, and unfortunately, not everybody is very diplomatic or sensitive, and you naturally go through frustration. You add in it financial pressure, you add in it kids running around. You have to handle work calls, you have to handle food, like for once you have to cook every day, so you have multiple layers, and of course that's puts so much pressure that naturally people are not very good at handling it. And I think it's just one step, I think it's just to really put some structure in the family. I'm not the expert, of course, but from my personal experience, what helped me when we had really tough time and we had to really be sort of confined in the house and we couldn't travel much, we were here. And what we did, we were having one dinner or lunch together, we cooked together, you have to I think you have to make everybody busy and involved in just also doing some errands, so that you have a relief and not, there's no build up. Everybody's quite busy in the good way. And then at the same time share a dinner, where everybody can say, for instance, from 1 to 10, how do you feel? Of course, teenagers are not very talkative, so that way you can kind of give numbers, so then you can check on each other. And I think for the husband and wife, of course, that I don't, I think it's very individual. But again, it comes down to having a healthy approach, like you have to act as a team. So everybody has to take part of it, and the kids will feel responsible and they will feel good. Maybe it will take longer, so you have to give them that space, let them do messy things. But if they do wash a dish, or if they do clean up the house, things that we have to go back to basics also to regain our mental stamina and have some control. So I think that way, maybe like on a ship, you know, what you do, you know, you have to work as a team. So I think that way you can involve, you know, and each member of the family, which in the way when the kids and the adults feel achievement, like a small achievement in life, you know, then there's less agony or, you know, need to take it on somebody else, you know, because I think that's, you know, I think essentially is really to making sure that everybody is doing their input, and then at the same time is to have some structure to keep sanity, you know, in the house. I think that
Aiga, thank you so much. I like what you said, that it looks like a ship, and when everybody has their responsibility and everybody work as a team and we separate who is doing what. And also I like what Cindy said and Melanie said about that we need to express our feelings, because it's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay not to do exercises and not to do split every day. It's okay not to, it's okay to be afraid for your team and for your business. I now want, thank you, Aiga, to listen to Matt, since he's the only man in our group. Matt, how do you surviving that with your wife, or what is, are you also working as a team, or it also looks like a ship, as Aiga said, or it's some other scenario that you recommend for the house at the moment?
Well, basically, I buried my wife under the patio the other day, so I'm just on my own now. It's fine. I'm kidding, of course.
Humor is very important. Yes, I agree.
We work as a team. We do our best to work as a team. Obviously, we struggle at times. You know, no relationship is perfect, but we've gone through a massive shift. All of us have gone through a massive shift. This is all new to us. All being stuck in one house or one apartment, one small space, all the time is a real big shift for us, you know?
And by the way, Matt is always going to mountains. He like nature. He like, I don't know, like whom. He always go on the motorcycles. He go to Ras Al Khaimah to hiking. So this is a free spirit. It's not somebody who is sitting in the house every day. Yeah, sorry for interruption, Matt.
No problem. Yeah, my wife tears her hair out, because normally if I'm stuck at home on a normal weekend, I'm a grumpy bear. So being stuck with me permanently in a house is probably a challenge for her. But like I said, we're all going through this massive shift in what we have to do. So I think we just have to be very aware of what's going on and give each other the time that we need. So weirdly, I mean, this has never happened to me before personally, but when I've applied for my permit to go and get the groceries, I'm like, hey, I can get a bit of me time. I can get a bit of downtime. I can listen to an audiobook on the way to the supermarket. I can wander around with my own thoughts, pick up the groceries. And it's an escape. It's a break from not each other, because we don't really need a break from each other, but it's a break from the environment. And adversely, my wife, you know, I'll look after our daughter while she's cooking or preparing a meal, so that she doesn't have to face both of those battles. So it's really just about splitting what can be done, giving each other the time, allowing each other to have the time to process what's going on and just do what they need to do, you know, but also just coming together and doing things differently. You know, we'll sit down and we'll play the board game together. We'll put our daughter to bed. She's only 2.5, so she can't enjoy that with us. But we sat down the other night and played a board game. We'll cook dinner together. We'll watch a movie together. And then we'll also, you know, there's no danger in being opposite ends of the couch, doing whatever you want to do. I want to read a book. She wants to look through social media or Pinterest. I want to, you know, play a game on the Xbox. She wants to read a book. You know, you can split the time. Just because you're actually physically locked in spaces together, you don't have to be interacting with each other all the time. That downtime, that silence can just be cohabiting. You know, you're just in that same space. So just don't feel pressured to do anything together if you don't have to.
It's very important. I understand. It's not that if we are locked in one space that we need to talk to each other every single moment. Yeah, no. You're right. We need to give each other space, because we are human and we cannot talk 24 hours a day with each other. Thank you. Yeah. It's very, very useful information.
Like Cindy said as well, humor is massively important.
Yeah.
Just have a laugh with each other, giggle, be silly,
do a stupid dance when a song comes on that you like. It doesn't matter. Just see the funny side of things and try and bring that into your life as well.
Oh, this is very nice. You know, when I went out also with this permission and very ugly, you know, with this mask, and here I put the glasses because somebody told me that the glasses protect more, and all sweat is, you know, sweating and the hair. And, you know, one old man saw me and he said, oh, very nice mask. You know, it was, I didn't understand, you know, it's really very funny because I feel awkward. I understand he also feels awkward. All of us, we feel awkward. Even I feel that sometimes we're afraid to look into each other's eyes because you feel awkward. I'm really 1.5 meters from you. I'm really, it's like it's awkward when you come to somebody, you know, it's some new feeling, because normally I like to talk, I like to look into people's eyes, but he's different because I'm in these glasses with this gloves. I look like a surgeon. I'm not sure it's so nice to look at me. That's why it's like something.
We're all in this together. I think that's the important thing. And if you do go out to the supermarket, don't be afraid to say hello. You know, social distancing, 1 meter away, somebody can still hear your voice perfectly well, even behind that mask. Just say hi, just say good morning. Just people can see your eyes are smiling. We don't need to go around grumpy all the time and just heads down and getting on with it. We can still be happy and civil to each other.
This is so nice, really, because why? Nobody told us we cannot smile, because even if you smile under the mask, people can guess by your eyes. You know, like in Arabic countries, when we have Shayla and something, of course, you can see that the person is smiling. Guys, now we are going to the last question to everybody. What you can think, how can it make us stronger? What we can maybe at the end of the day, it can even help us as a human beings, even maybe it can help our businesses, or if not businesses, maybe, and I would like to start from Melanie. Melanie, what do you think? What this experience, what good in that? How we can help each other in that situation?
Well, I'm all about the, you know, connecting emotionally. And I think there's such an idea that, just as we've been talking about, that we stay away from people and we don't go to other places and all this kind of thing. And yet it doesn't mean at all that we can't connect with people from all over the world, and even our own loved ones and our friends at a deeper level. And even for myself, I've reached out to more people that maybe I would have, you know, not necessarily spoken to as much, checked on and how they are. And then the conversation started, and then I felt closer to that person. And that, I really noticed a shift even in my mood and my day, just hearing about what other people were doing, just their general routines, how they were coping, what they're going through. So I think the whole experience doesn't need to be, you know, as Matt said, sort of like the doom and gloom and the negative. You know, we can actually really transform ourselves. And as people say, you know, if you can't go outside, go inside. So that's obviously not just the physical, you know, and functional implications of that, but spiritually and emotionally, that we still can have very meaningful and in-depth connections with people. We can actually use this time to develop those connections, because normally we're so busy, do, and we don't stop to think, and we're like a rat on a wheel. And then suddenly we've been kind of forced to stop and adapt and look at the way we do things, whether it's our finances or the way we handle our lives or our relationships, and just stopping for a bit to reflect on all of that, you know, what's working, what's not working. So I'm all for developing, you know, the emotional connections at this time, and just the feeling of reaching out to people maybe who are alone, elderly people, people that we wouldn't normally reach out to, trying to help in some ways. That's what I think, you know, I would come out of this time with, is having developed those relationships and taught other people how to as well. The importance of just connecting with one another. I mean, you're talking about Mall of the Emirates before. I mean, how many times have we been to the Mall of the Emirates and everybody's in their own space and everybody's looking at their phones? You know, it's like kind of zombies, right? Nobody's really present, really in the now, in the here and now, observing, looking around, seeing who's around us. And I think now we've got that time too. I've learned so much about my son, his personality, his behaviors. You know, I'm ready to send all the teachers money and trophies for what they've done for him. Kind of painful stuff at times. It's been so challenging, you know, but the relationship I'm developing with him and really getting to know him, and I feel almost guilt and shame about that. It's like, well, where was I before?
Yes, I know you do
I
now.
thought I was a good mother.
Yeah, no, I know you do aerobics with him. You're doing on YouTube, and I know Hamdan likes to play football. And you were thinking, wow, why he's not studying? He's not studying because he's a normal boy. He likes football. He likes to exercise. He is a normal boy who likes activities. It's very
look, we're doing
interesting.
online football now. Would you believe it? It's probably the worst possible thing we could do, but sitting on edges of the couch, competing on our phones together. But it's great fun. It's so fun, and so that's what it's about for me.
Oh, Melanie, thank you so much. I know that really you are not busy, but extremely busy with this online and then helping people. Melanie told me a very interesting thing, that some of her patients, they are recovered from corona, and then the question is that there is a small fight between doctors and patients. Patients they want to leave the house immediately, but the doctors still want to check them. You know, it's very strange time, and you know, it's like a lot of tension. I can imagine. So we just send you big power, and thank you for being with us, and thank you for helping so many people, because I think your work nowadays, like mental psychology, is very important. All of us, we need health, mental psychologist, all of us. Thank you so much. Let's go to Aiga. Aiga, what do you think? How we can use this time and how we can be helpful to each other?
I think definitely we're going to declutter completely, you know, and I think that's amazing how I think sort of nature forces us now to really go back to basics, go back to what is important, and physically, emotionally, mentally. I think we all should be, you know, much more stronger after we come out of it, and we will come out of it, and it will happen soon enough. If we are, you know, the more effective we are, I think the more we can manage now. So I think decluttering and refocusing, you know, like even now when you look at the press and you understand some key sectors like healthcare, education, you know, have not been properly looked after. And I think that would really put a massive shift in what is really the essentials that we need to have. And unfortunately, we all like that, you know, unless
underestimated.
it's
That's true. And that's not fair.
And, you know, I lived through the collapse, and you all also lived through collapse of Soviet Union. And I think a couple of professions that have been completely neglected were doctors, professors, educators, teachers, you know, because after that collapse, everybody started to go into business, into law, into, you know, doing this, you know, like, you know, even something that would give you money. But essentially what you really need is you need to have your kids to be well educated, but not what they're going to learn, but the process of learning, the eagerness to learn. What you really need is you need to have a proper healthcare, and you need to have you have to look after these professions. And right before the collapse, NYU, for instance, they announced the free education for the medical classes, you know, for the nurses. Why? Because basically they could not really, after they get out of the university, they have to pay the loans on this education for the rest of their life because their salary are not compatible, and you know this. So I think for us on the micro level, definitely for each person, I think it will be about decluttering, to really refocusing the purpose, the things that we move with intention. Even the fact that we have to get permit now, you have to really put your thinking into that move, you know. So I think even after it goes away, we will be more mindful, and I hope that, you know, in this way our life will improve greatly. And on the macro level, definitely there will be a massive refocus on the essential professions and essential things that we really need to appreciate and invest in you know, moving it forward so that it's accessible, you know. So I think we're going through massive historical movement, and as you said, you are living through a movie, you are living through historical time. And I think you know, record it, write down the diary, because one day this, you know, this period will be you know, really close.
I agree with you. I just I dream and I pray that it will be a movie with happy end. I know that dramatic ends, but let's hope it will be with happy end. Thank you, Aiga, for your time, for being with us, and for your very interesting comments into the point. Let's go to Cindy. Cindy, share with us how we can help each other, how we can use this time, how our businesses can help each other.
Well, first of all, on a personal level, I think what Melanie said is to really first connect with ourselves. You know, allowing ourselves to go inside and think about, okay, what really matters to me, and to connect with others. Can you believe it? 2 days ago, I had a birthday party online.
Unbelievable.
And it took like hours because people were inviting one another and they were talking about how they met and what was special about this person. So, and although I've never met some of those people, after 2 hours, it felt like I knew them better than would I met them maybe on a face-to-face party. So to really embrace the possibilities.
Cindy, was it your birthday or no?
It was not my birthday, but it felt like it. It was so engaging. Everybody was really like, okay, let's get there. There were people who dressed up. There were people who just came out of the kitchen. It was so nice. And it was with people all over the place. And I think technology offers us so much these days to connect with people we might not have heard from in a long time, like Melanie said. And at home, to really, really be a bit more curious about what are our children's passions now, because sometimes, you know, they grow and we forget, or we forget to ask. Like Matt says, sometimes we're so busy with our day-to-day things, yeah, that we forget to get into what really matters to them. Another thing that really helps is, like Melanie already said, to tap into what are we grateful for. And that really helps for us to release some of the stresses and to think about do we want more of. Like Aiga said, refocus for what comes next and to think about that. And of course, it is a great time, like Aiga already said, to declutter, to update your profile on LinkedIn.
Wow. Cindy, thank you so much. Wow.
What you want to do, because there's a lot of free courses out there, so you can up your skills in the meantime. You can think about new business ideas, because this is a time that we can use to our advantage, because every challenge is an opportunity, right?
Wow, Cindy, thank you so much. You give us so much positive energy that now I'm really, I don't know, we get a very big boost of positive energy and even good ideas starting from LinkedIn. And let's go to Matt before we wrap it up. Let's say, Matt, what do you recommend us and people and all humanity to do? How we can use this time in our favor?
I'm going to come at it from a business perspective, I think. Because the ladies have all covered, you know, emotionally and likewise everything that could be done. But from a business perspective, you know, businesses are really suffering. We're all suffering. We're all having to take stock of everything that's going on. My advice would be to emote, to have that empathy with your customers, to see it from your customer's perspective, how this whole situation is affecting your customers. Focus on your existing customers. Let's not worry about new business right now. Focus on your existing customers. What can you do for them? How could you innovate the way that you do business right now that will benefit your existing customers? Because they're the ones you really need to be looking after, because they've given you business in the past. You need to give them, take the time to give something back to them. Look at them, look at how it's affecting them. How can you change the way you do business to help these individuals, or, you know, if it's B2B, these smaller businesses you may be working with, to just try and reevaluate, you know, look at it from an entrepreneurial perspective, and see if there's anything that you could be doing differently that will really help your customers. And that will have a long-term effect, I feel, on your business. You know, if you're giving back, you're having that empathy with them, and you're, you know, trying to innovate for their benefit, not your benefit. Don't worry about the financial side of things at the moment. Just try and progress your business for your customers' benefit, which is what I would say to a business anyway. You know, always look at it from the customer's perspective, but just try and change your mindset with regards to the business, and try and innovate. You know, really try and push. You've got some time. You've got a lot of people that are working at home, which is probably difficult, so they're not maybe as productive as they would be normally. Give your employees some guidance on how they can work from home better, not to be afraid of not achieving. You know, we're all at home, we're all working, so we're all going to have these distractions going on constantly, the door going, the children running in, your partner calling you because dinner's ready. You've got to accept those things. You've got to allow your employees to accept that those things are going to happen. They're not going to be as productive, but give them back, you know, to say, look, don't worry about it. This is a stressful time. You've got family that is more important than my business. Look after them, and they will give back to you in tenfold. Same with your customers. Look after your customers at this time and look after employees.
Wow. Matt, thank you so much. And you know what, I can tell all of you that somehow when I started this meeting, I feel, of course, scared, of course, upset. Of course, I was thinking, what is that? But somehow I don't know what you did with my mood. My mood shifted and I feel very positive. I feel that I'm surrounded by great people. I think that we can connect. I was never, but nowadays this technology gives us unique chances to be together, and I'm really very grateful to you.
Yes.
And I think it's very important to think about our customers, to think about our family as a team. As you said, it's like a ship that we are driving. And I would like to tell every one of you, Melanie, for your unique time, Matt, for your expertise as a business owner, as advisors for owners of the business who don't know where to run. And now they have a clue, maybe to start from the customers and their perspective and think about them, not only about money that you lose and you will not gain. And Iga, who is saying, do everything at one time. Don't think about 1 year later or at least concentrate on now. Clean your bed, put your bed in the right position. Start your day from these bad things. You will control it. And Cindy was talking a lot about emotions, and ask your children what they want, ask everybody what they want, and find time for yourself, ask questions to yourself. I want to tell you, thank you. I'm happy to have you, to know you, and you give me such a big boost of energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us here.
It's a pleasure to meet everybody. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet everybody. Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
We will survive, and we will use this time to help ourselves and people we love and our teams. Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe and healthy. Thank you. Bye,
I'm
guys.
motivated.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.